Welcome to the fourth and final session for today for the user track, simplifying your work with filters, fields, and artifact creations. So what is a filter? A filter is a saved state of your current SmartTS Excel work environment. Filters can determine the data to be searched, whether it be types or languages or groups, as you can see down here. The number of results to initially retrieve, you can set a default here. There are multiple settings and advanced features, which we will go over shortly. You can also define if your searches will be special or regular character. So let's review the search filter. Clicking on the search filter drops down all the area, allowing us to select the different features and functions. As we said, many items can be set to the current state. Do we want special characters? Do we want to use a synonym dictionary? Are we going to include in the search the archive, the deleted elements? Should we limit the search to 1,000 or limit it to 50,000? The default sort is by hits, but I want it by date or I want it by name. You would change it here. Usually, when the search results appear, it has the hits, name, data type, and language. Well, I want to add lines of code and size and date loaded or created. So all these changes can be done at the filter. Do you want to show hyperlinks by default or not? Do you want to see multicolor hits? So if you're searching for 4 words, each word will be in a different color. Or do you prefer to see all the hits in one color? Once you defined all the items and the state that you wish, you can create the filter. Of course, the most important thing is what are we going to search on? Here you can choose if you want to limit it by data types, by languages, or by groups. This is really all the same data, but in different logical views. So if I went to languages and I wanted to limit it to the COBOL language, it's like I would have gone to the data types and selected all these data types. So it's just simpler sometimes to do it at the higher level of language. Or if you're doing it by groups, for example, if I was going to search the entire mainframe group, it would have been like selecting all these data types that belong to the mainframe. So in this case, I'm going to go to data types, select none, and let's assume we're working on a project that includes the work only for JCLs. So I filter here by typing JCL. It filters all the data types. I have all my JCLs. I can select them all. There's 23 types of JCL. And now we can create our filter. The name would be JCL project. If I make this filter public, anyone in the company working on the JCL project could use my filter. So why not share? If I add it to my favorite filters, they will appear when I click on the little heart, which is where your favorite filters appear when you click on. And if I make this my default filter and save it, then from now on, anytime I do a new search, JCL project will be my filter. Well, that name is taken, so let's just call it project 2. And now if we do a new search, the filter is set to JCL project 2. The data types are automatically including the 23 data types. And if we do a search, we're going to sort by name because that's what we selected over there, by name. Anyone can have as many filters as you like. There's no limits on how many filters you can have. Your favorite filters will appear when you click on the heart, and here also is the one we just created now. You can delete or share your filters. You can move them in and out of your favorites, and you can also make them default. You cannot do that with the public filters because some of them you did not create. So the ones you did create, you can delete, and you can make favorite, and you can make default. But others you did not create, you cannot delete. And that's obvious because they're not yours to delete. The reset current, if you were making changes to your current filter and you change your mind, had a change of heart, you can just reset, it'll go back to the way it was. Reload default will automatically set all the settings to the current default. So that's it about filters. And I highly recommend to use filters because although SmartDS is super fast, and even though when you search and you select everything, it comes back in 3 seconds, just know that if you do limit your data types to a filter that you're searching in your project, because you don't need to search everything, instead of 3 seconds, you're going to get back your results in 0.3 seconds. Just take that into mind. All right, let's move on and talk about fields. So what are fields? Fields represent areas that are named with a searchable tag, like data type or data name, and contain within them searchable text, like this data type is COBOL, MS COBOL, and this data name is SDY0499. SmartDS Excel adds common fields at load time to all data types that determine if the text is, for example, analyzed as code, comment, strings. We do that to almost all the languages. Some languages have additional specific fields. For example, COBOL language has many more searchable areas like working, linkage, procedure, data division, and so forth. This allows you to limit your search to certain areas in the COBOL programs. Most document types have hidden metadata fields, and when loaded into SmartDS Excel, they become searchable. For example, if you were to load your emails into SmartDS Excel, you would be able to search on from, to, CC, subject, body. If you load your shared folders, your shared drives, and in them there's all kind of Office documents, you can do searches by date created, author, version, and so forth. Let's have a look at usage of fields. So to use the fields, you simply click on the fields right below the search. The common fields like code, comment, program name, string. So if we were looking for string of, let's say, please, and we were looking on language COBOL, we would find all the locations of the word please as a string in COBOL. Whereas if we modify this search and we put here, for example, comment, I just know that it's CXCMNT. Of course, you can go to the field and select comment, and it will just type that for you. But now, what will we get? And behold, all the please are in comments. So as I said, the common fields of string, code, comment, data name are here. However, if you browse by language, and by default the only languages you get are determined by what data types are selected. So let's go and select everything and do the fields again. And now we'll have all the languages here. So if you're searching on COBOL, now we have many other fields. We can limit a search to working storage. And now within the working storage, we can limit it to code. And within the code, we can limit it to a string. So we are looking for strings that are not comments, code that are strings in working storage. Ooh, that's a mouthful. All right, let's see what we can find. The word error. Potluck. I don't know if we'll find anything, but let's give it a shot. Yep, something's there. So what we found are the word error that are in strings, in code not comment, only in working area of COBOL. Let's try and find an example of a field in a document to see what kind of fields we find there. Let's see an example of selecting a doc data type. For example, we can do PDFs, and automatically now the fields are aligned with any hidden fields in the PDF. Let's see what we found. We have author, creation date, file name. Let's go author. And since we don't know what to look for, I'll just put wildcard, wildcard. And what did we find? We found the author, because these metadata fields are automatically picked up by SmartTS Excel and searchable by the content of the field. So you can search on any one of these fields. Of course, if you just searched for this direct string, you would find it anyway, but you would not find it as an author. You would just find it because it's text. That's the difference. So if we did this kind of search on everything, we're going to find that PDF that has that in it because, of course, SmartTS finds it. It's a string. But we wouldn't know that it's found because it's an author. So there it is. It still finds it. And that concludes the fields part. Let's move on to the artifacts. So what is an artifact? Any piece of information, result, report, list that can be harvested and saved for later use, review, sharing, and analysis is called an artifact. Anything you can make a value of from working with SmartTS is called an artifact. Any information produced by SmartTS can be saved as an artifact. Every user has their own private area to save artifacts in a folder structure, and we'll review that in a second. Most cases offer multiple formats for exporting these artifacts. And at the end of the day, artifacts can be downloaded as a zip file so you can use, review, and share with your coworkers. Let's go have a look at creating some artifacts. So let's perform a search. We are now on JCL. Let's change our favorite search to everything. And I'm going to perform a search, let's say compute and rounded. There's my search criteria, and here are my results. So this area here is the search results. And there are times when just the search results themselves are already useful for saving as an artifact. So let's go ahead and save that as an artifact. The 4 items selected are referring to the hits, name, data type, and language, which are the default 4 columns. This is something we can change when we create a filter, or we can come in here and on the spot just choose only the name. So now we have the name, and we're going to save this, only the name, and we're going to save this and give it a name of, let's say, results from compute rounded. Format can be CSV, HTML, Word, or Excel. I'm going to leave HTML. And the folder, well, everyone has a folder called My Documents. All these other folders I added over time. If you type a name here that doesn't exist, it'll generate it on the spot. So if I write here, new folder, it'll generate that new folder for us and export. That whole area has now gone the Action Center. And when you click on the bill, you get your Action Center, and this is where all your artifacts are kept, and here are your folders. Here's the My Documents folder. Here's the new folder we just now created. If I click on it, there's the results from Compute Rounded. And I can download, delete, view, or email to a colleague. Let's view for a second to make sure it did the right job, and there it is, the list of modules in my search result. So it's very easy to send your artifacts to the notification center, the Action Center, and once it reaches it, it lights up to let you know it's done. Let's do another one. This is the search result statistics. It's an insight, what we call a widget. I like this a lot because it gives you an immediate overview of where the information was found, how many documents, how many lines of code, and how many hits. And you can sort this here, so it's very easy to see the bulk of the information. By the way, did you know that clicking on here automatically filters your search results? So it's another nice way to filter the results of the search. All right, let's go ahead and save this. This is very interesting information for analysis. I'm going to save this one. Let me close the Action Center. I'm going to save this as HTML. I'm going to save this as stats for compute. My typing is awful. Rounded. And let's put it in a different folder called My Documents this time. Soon the bell will light. There we go. And now it's ready. And let's do one more report. Let's select the action here called All Hits. And I'm going to request the hits, the lines with the compute and rounded for all these modules. Let's process that report. And there it is. There's a report for the modules, the 7 modules we requested. This report, of course, can also be exported. I'm going to export this in Excel, All Hits report, and put it in new folder, export. This one is a bit bigger report. It might take a little bit longer. When it comes, it'll light up and we'll know it's there. So, oh, there we go. It's there. Let's go check it out. And it's right there. All hits. At the end of the day, I can come to the top level folder, download, and it will create a zip file of all the artifacts I've created. Later on the day or tomorrow, when I go through all the other applications like flow charting and cross-reference, you will see that every tool that we offer has a method of exporting artifacts. So that concludes today's session, and we'll leave some time for questions. Thank you.